So God says about Israel, he said, you only have I known. What?
Of all the families of the earth.
So out of all the families in the earth, you got the Caucasians, you have the Africans, you have the Asians, you have the Chinese, the Japanese, you have all these different families. But God says, I only know the children of Israel. It said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So what's going to happen to them? They're going to go into slavery. That's what God is prophesying is going to happen. That is what's going to happen. So just like they did to us, that's going to happen to them.
The environment does not breed choice. If someone's denying you access,
just because they give you a gun don't mean you got to shoot somebody.
No.
I get the environment will affect you, but it's up to us to change that. We have to change.
We have to change.
We have to change. We cannot stay the same. If the environment is what's causing you to be that way, guess what? You gotta find people that's not living, that's not moving in that environment. Get yourself out of the environment and join with people that are gonna follow this book, that are gonna get their minds right. And as we continue to grow and grow as a people that are doing the right thing, guess what? We're gonna outnumber those that are doing evil. Yes, sir, I got you. So give me Amos real quick. I'm gonna answer this question for you, my brother. What's your name?
Trey.
Trey? All right, I'm gonna call you Trey. All right, so Trey, we're gonna show you. Give me Amos 3. Amos 3. So he's saying, why did God judge us and the white man getting away with all these things that he getting away with? Was pretty much what you're saying? Because he's sin, we sin, the white man does sins too, but we the only ones getting punished. So let's see what God got to say about that. Read verse 1.
Amos 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel.
So what we out here showing our people is that we are the children of Israel. We are the children of God, all right? That is us, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the children of Israel. Read.
Against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known.
What do you say?
You only have I known.
What did God say about Israel?
You only have I known.
So God says about Israel, he said, you only have I known. What?
Of all the families of the earth.
So out of all the families in the earth, you got the Caucasians, you have the Africans, you have the Asians, you have the Chinese, the Japanese, you have all these different families. But God says, I only know the children of Israel. All right, read.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So he said, therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities, right? So what does that mean? So God said, I only deal with you, I only know you. Just like if you had kids, right? If you had kids and you told your kids, hey, I need you back in the house by 9 o'clock or whatever. If you don't come back by 9 o'clock, you're going to get a whooping. But your kid go out with his friends. He going out, hanging out and stuff with his friends and stuff. He come back 12 o'clock. Guess what? You're going to whoop his ass, right? Mm-hmm. But you ain't going to do that to the other kids, are you? No, you're not. You're not going to whoop nobody else's kids. Huh?
That's my whole question.
That's your whole question. But look, usually, I'm just saying, but usually when you got your own kids, if you tell your kids to do something, they can't do certain things. If your kids don't follow those commands, guess what? You punish your kids. You're not punishing everybody else's kids for breaking your. You said what?
After you punish your kids, punish your kids for who they are, why leave those people alone? Why not judge them? Why not put your will or your force upon them?
That's because those not your kids. You're not dealing with them at that time. You're not. But look, you tell your kids to follow these rules. Their parents may tell them. Their parents may have different rules for them. So if they listen to their parents, but that goes contrary to what you're saying, that means you're not gonna punish them.
So I tell my kids to be kind and loving.
Right.
Somebody else tell their kids to be hostile and abusive.
You can't punish their kids.
No, I'm not punishing their kids. But why would I let someone put harm on my child?
You wouldn't let nobody.
That's what God doing.
That's what He's doing right now.
Right now, He's been doing.
Watch this. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. This is what it's all based off of. It's all based off of God has rules and laws for his people to follow. And if you don't follow those rules and laws, guess what? Punishment and consequences happens for those, all right? That's how it is with every household. God is the ultimate father at the end of the day. And when we, as earthly fathers, when our kids don't do what we say, we punish them. But God, his punishments are way severer than any man on earth can have, all right? So check this out. I'm going to read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So God said, look, if you don't do what I say, curses are going to happen. For your disobedience, for you not listening to what I say, tell you to do, there will be curses. Curses are bad things. They're punishments. So I'm going to read you a list of some of these curses, starting off with verse 32.
Verse 32, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given into another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the days long. And there shall be no might in thy hand.
Now what does that sound like? That sounds like slavery, right? That's exactly what that is, because in slavery, we were sold on auction blocks. So from plantation to plantation, our sons and our daughters was taken from us and given to other people, and there was nothing we can do. We didn't have no military might, no economic might, nothing to fight back to get our kids. We just had to take the L and lose our kids in slavery, all right? That's just one of the curses that God said will happen to us, all right? Read on. Do verse 48.
Verse 48, therefore shall thou serve thy enemies.
So God said, look, I told you to serve me. I told you to do what I said do. But because you don't want to serve me, you don't want to do what I do, guess what? Now you got to serve your enemies. Now you got to serve the white man in slavery. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Because God sent those enemies against. They didn't come on their own will. God sent them against us. Read.
In hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Right. He said, then he said, so he put us, we got to serve our enemies in hunger. Meaning for all the food that we want, we got to serve our enemies. Meaning we don't own no food, so we don't own Quick Trip, we don't own no gas station, we don't own no grocery stores. We got to go to our enemies to get food. We got to go to our enemies in thirst, meaning for water. You got to pay a water bill. If you don't pay that water bill, your water getting cut off by your enemies. And everything that we want to serve, that we want, guess what? We got to go to our enemies for it. But the reason I'm reading this to you is because these are punishments that God put upon his people for breaking his commandment, because he gave the commandments only to us. He only gave us these commandments. All right? So if we break the commandments, we're the only ones that are going to get punished for now. Eventually, it's not going to be like that. That's going to change after he gets his people in order. With his children. So first, God's, his plan and his priority is getting us together first. All right? So read it again. First, the yoke of iron part.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed.
So who put the yokes of iron upon our neck? The Europeans did. They was the ones that put the yokes of iron upon our neck. Now the yokes of iron was upon the necks of these people right here, the 12 tribes of Israel. Because all these curses that we're reading about to you, these all prove to us that we are the people of Israel, because these curses only happen to those people. Now I'm going to read you one more curse that further proves that we are the Israelites, all right? So, because all these curses, this is a conversation that Moses was having with the children of Israel after he delivered them out of Egypt, all right? When he walked through the Red Sea and all that stuff. You heard about that, right? All right, so this is what happened after this. Moses is talking to them. Read. Verse 68.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now Egypt, that's a little weird. Give me that in Exodus 20 and 2 real quick. Because what does he mean he's going to bring us into Egypt again with ships? Because the first time that we came out of Egypt, we walked. So now he's talking about we're going to go into Egypt again with ships. What does he mean by that? I'm going to show you.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2.
Read.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So he said, I'm the Lord that the Lord God that brought you out of the land of Egypt,
out of the house of bondage.
Now, you heard what he called Egypt? What do you call Egypt?
Can't hear him because the car. Say it
Read it
again.
again.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
He called it the house of what? He called Egypt the house of bondage. Another word for bondage. What's that? Chain, slavery, captivity. All right, so now we can go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 68 so we can get a better understanding on it, all right? Read.
And the Lord, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So he said, I'm going to bring you into Egypt, which is house of bondage or slavery, again with ships. Now, what people do you know that went into slavery on ships? What's the only people you know that went into slavery on ships? Us. We were the people that happened to. That's on this sign right here. You see this sign? We was the one packed on these slave ships like cargo. They're supposed to be for cargo, for trading goods and stuff, but they made us the goods. They made us the cargo. Packed us on the slave ships like sardines. We doodling, peeing, throwing up on each other. They did that to us. But God allowed that to happen. Why? because we were disobedient. Like I said, God's punishment is going to be way more severe than any earthly man's punishment. He caused them. He put it in their heart to do this to us for our disobedience. Because he wants us to get ourselves together, get right. But watch this. Read.
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you.
It said, and once you got off them slave ships, guess what? You was going to be sold. Who was sold? That was us. We were sold on auction blocks. We know that. That's a historical fact. But this was written in the Bible thousands of years before it even happened. That's how we know this is true. This prophesied that it happened, because now this ain't just prophecy. This is history. That's what this is. This is history about what happened to us. So he said, once we got off the ships, we will be sold unto our enemies. For man and women, it don't matter. If you're a man or a woman, you're getting sold into slavery. But he said, no man shall be able to buy you, meaning nobody will be able to redeem you out of slavery. Once I put y'all into slavery, nobody gonna be able to save y'all. Y'all gonna be stuck in slavery, being sold from plantation to plantation. You got all our brothers that tried, but guess what? None of them succeeded. None of them succeeded in freeing our people from slavery.
Yeah, you ain't did that shit? You ain't playing games. Hold on. Look at this guy. What you doing, man? You subscribed yet? Subscribe right now. Do it.
So, give me that 1 Peter real quick. I want 1 Peter's 4.
4:17.
Yeah, 4:17. Because you said, I know you worried about how God is judging us and causing all this great punishment to come upon us right now. But guess what? All of that is going to come and turn on that. Matter of fact, easier scripture, Revelation 13:10. Revelation 13:10, because guess what? If we out here telling you that we are the children of Israel and we are God's special people, if we're such a special people to God, how would he allow all these bad things to happen to us and it doesn't happen to them? That don't make no sense. That would never happen. God is a just God. He's a righteous God. So guess what? He will avenge his people. That's why you read in the scripture it said, vengeance is mine. We can't avenge ourselves, my brother. Trey, you hear me? We can't avenge ourselves. We got to leave it up to God. But all we got to do for God to avenge us is do what he says. We got to keep it together. We got to follow his way. We got to show God that we love him. How do we always say that we love God and we put God on such a great pedestal, but we can't do the simple things that he tells us to do? God ain't going to fight for you. He ain't going to save you. He ain't going to look out for you if you're not doing what he said do. All right, so read this. Revelation 13:10. I want you to know that they are not getting away. That's our hope, that God judges them. That we get saved and God judges them for what they did to us. Read this.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
So Trey, it says, listen up. God got something to tell you. Read.
He that leadeth into captivity.
Who led us into captivity? Huh? The white man led us into captivity, all right? It says, he that leadeth into captivity
Shall go into captivity.
So what is that telling you? It said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So what's going to happen to him? They're going to go into slavery. That's what God is prophesying is going to happen. That is what's going to happen. So just like they did to us, that's going to happen to them. All right? Read.
He that killeth with the sword.
Who kills us with the sword? Who always killing our people today? From back then all the way to now, we're the ones getting killed by them, by the white man, by the Arab man, by all the other nations. God says, he that killeth with the sword
Must be killed with the sword.
That is God's judgment. God is a just God. He's not going to let them get away with that. So they led us into slavery. They going into slavery. They killed us. God is going to kill them. You understand that? They're not getting away with that. That's all our hope. Our hope is that we get avenged for what they did to us. For all our grandparents, all our children, our wives, all our people that got killed. Guess what? They got to pay. And God is going to make sure that happens. Give me that in Isaiah 14 real quick.
Bring it out.
Finish it off. Go ahead, finish it off.
Here's the patience and the faith of the saints.
So that's what we being patient on. I know it's frustrating how we've been oppressed and we've been afflicted for so long, and while all these bad things continue to happen to you, it makes you mad. I understand, it makes you mad, but we gotta be patient. God does things on his own. He's not moving on your time. You already messed up when you didn't do what he said. He said, keep my commandments. And we don't do that. Now we trying to tell God when to avenge us and when to give us justice. We can't move like that. We got to wait on him. It said, and this is our faith. We faithful in that. All we got to do is believe that that's going to happen. How do we believe? How do we prove that we got faith in that and that we believe in that? By doing what he says. You can't just say you got faith and that you are being patient on this without no actions. Your actions show that you are faithful. You understand? So what do we got to do? Give me Hosea real quick. Before you hold that, but give me Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15. This is what we got to understand. This is what we have to understand with this situation right here. All right, Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
So God says, I will go and return to my place until they acknowledge my offense. Meaning, I'm going to turn my back on my people until they acknowledge what they did wrong. Right now, our people have not acknowledged what they do wrong. What do you mean how I see? All I do is got to look through the city of St. Louis. All our people that's gang banging, all the music that they promote on TV, all the things that you see our people in the midst of, the majority of our people are in the midst of evil.
That's not about
gang banging, selling drugs, killing each other, stealing, all these things. Our people not doing that?
It's not by choice though.
It is by choice.
It's not by choice.
How is it not by
The
choice?
environment does not breed choice. If someone's denying you access
Just because they give you a gun doesn't mean you gotta shoot somebody.
No.
I get the environment will affect you, but it's up to us to change that. We have to change.
You have to change.
We have to change. We cannot stay the same. If the environment is what's causing you to be that way, guess what? You gotta find people that's not moving in that environment. Get yourself out of the environment and join with people that are gonna follow this book, that are gonna get their minds right. And as we continue to grow as a people that are doing the right thing, guess what? We're gonna outnumber those that are doing evil. That environment that has entrapped our people in these wicked ways. Because I get it. The Bible talked about how people that are poor, they're gonna steal. But eventually, we gotta get a job. God gives you answers to everything. You can't just keep on blaming your environment. You can change that. You can't blame the environment.
But the environment is exactly how everything you just described
I know,
was done by those exact
Guess
people
what?
that you're saying
We all
God
come from
is
that same environment. We changed our law.
Bring it out.
We changed our law. We are the example for you. And it starts with you. You can change. You can start keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's all it does. It takes one by one by one. As we keep on doing it, as we keep on changing, guess what? We're going to keep on changing. We're going to keep on getting it right. We're going to get better. We're going to force the environment to change. We're going to start calling out the people. Like one law. I'm going to show you that one law that changes the environment that you're in. Give me that in Leviticus. You already know what I want. Leviticus 5. This is the problem with our people. Because like I said, we grow up in these bad environments. We got all these killers, these murderers, this gang banging. We got all these thieves. We got all these people selling drugs and all these things going on. But guess what? We okay with it. We don't speak up against it. We don't say nothing. We say snitches get stitches. We allow them, we enable them to keep on doing what they're doing in the environment. If we had people in the environment that stood up against the environment, guess what? The environment would change. All right? And everybody got to change and get like that. Because that's how we force the environment to change. Read this.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 5, verse 1. And if a soul sin,
If a soul sin, meaning if somebody breaking God's commandments, doing evil, gang banging, killing, stealing, selling drugs, read.
and hear the voice of swearing, and is a witness, but he has seen or known of it,
So if you got a witness of this evil going on, you've seen it, you heard it, what?
if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
So it says if he don't utter, meaning if he don't tell or snitch like we call it, guess what? He got to bear that iniquity too. You allowed that to happen. So guess what? That same punishment that he gonna get, guess what? You gonna get it too because you didn't speak up. We should be able to police and govern our own neighborhoods. We got to do that. We got to change the environment. And it starts with us. So give me that Hosea 5 and 15 again real quick. I'm going to read this. I'm going to let the next brother come up. Hosea 5 and 15.
Hosea chapter 5 and verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
So like I said, God turned his back on us until we acknowledge what we've done wrong. Right now, we don't like to acknowledge what we're doing wrong. That's what our people are not doing right now. But God will not answer our prayers. When every time a gangbanger got killed, everybody was like, oh, you're such a good baby. Why this happened? God, this. But guys, I'm not hearing that. That man was in the midst of evil. And you ain't acknowledging that. But you want to wonder why I allowed that to happen. Why all these bad things happen in our neighborhood? Because we are in the midst of sin. Because we broke the commandments like I read you in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. We will be cursed for disobedience. Read.
And seek my face.
So we got to seek his face by reading this Bible. Read.
In their affliction, they will seek me early.
So God is allowing all these bad things to happen to us because guess what? When all these bad things happen, guess what? We're going to seek God early. We're going to start wondering, why is all this bad stuff happening? What do we got to do? We're going to acknowledge that we have done wrong and that we must get right by what? Keeping the commandments.
Sons of God! We're going to take this city. We're going to take the kingdom. We're going to rule them hard. This is war! This is war! This is war! I'm in for the win, well, to get it again. The Lord call it taking the kingdom. Want what's mine? Taking my time, turning and taking your freedom. Risen from the ashes, after the lashes, call it a beautiful tragedy. We've been on the brink of insanity. It's the end of your days, our calamity. Adding in, grab a friend for the finale. Curtain call on a heathen. We want forever and a day. Why would the pastor lie and say it's your season? Drop a bomb on them, Hiroshima. Drop a bomb on them cause they need it. Scrub it down, planet need a cleaning. Vagabond gone like I'm dreaming.